Hardcore.
They're petrified of some kind of backlash.
I wanted my money back. It was very disappointing.
Nobody wants a movie about true love? What kind of woman do we want out there seeking true love, Eliana? It's the outrage.
Every way that Disney changed the story, it changed it for the worse.
They are pretending like Rachel Zegler is the first of them all when she looks like Lord Farquaad in the film.
The new Disney boss babe, who is Rachel Zegler, the inverse of happy.
So she comes off as an insufferable, whiny brat.
No one on the right side of America can stand the star of this movie.
Rachel Zegler, like so many kids raised on TikTok, she's all for infantata is the only global solution.
Rachel Zegler's Snow White drama has taken a turn for the worse, and it seems she won't be bouncing back anytime soon. Reports indicate that Disney is placing the blame for the film's poor performance squarely on Rachel's shoulders, as projections suggest the movie may not even break even. The situation is dire, with insiders claiming that Rachel has fallen out of favor with major studio executives across Hollywood, leaving her unable to get anyone to return her calls. Could this spell the end of Rachel Zegler's career? Buckle up as we delve into the latest scandal surrounding Rachel, which is proving to be more captivating than the film itself. The controversy begins with the creative decision to remake yet another animated classic instead of producing original content. Unfortunately for Rachel, her behavior has become a focal point of criticism. If it were just one misstep, it might have been overlooked, but a series of comments have left many feeling frustrated, particularly longtime Disney fans. Following a disastrous premiere, the outlook for both Disney and Rachel has grown increasingly bleak. Reports indicate that for the third consecutive week, the film is on track to perform poorly, with estimates suggesting a staggering $115 million loss.
We can start out with the creative bankruptcy of remaking another animated classic instead of making something new. But yes, it's all Rachel Zegler and her behavior. And if it was just one comment, it probably would have been forgotten by now. But it was comment after comment, and it was pissing off everybody, pissing off old Disney fans.
Distribution experts predict that Snow White will only generate around $295 million, falling far short of the $410 million budget that Disney invested in the film. This astronomical budget was inflated by production delays, industry strikes, and a massive PR and marketing effort aimed at repairing Rachel's damaged public image, one of the largest in the live-action remake genre. Rachel's actions have cost Disney dearly, leading to the cancellation of another live-action remake that was in the works. The financial fallout from Snow White could reach as high as $200 million, and in the process, Rachel has inadvertently harmed the Tangled franchise as well. When Rachel was cast as Snow White, she joined one of Disney's most lucrative franchises, the Disney Princess brand, which has generated an impressive $45 billion in merchandise sales over the past 25 years. Disney has attempted to keep this brand fresh through live-action reboots, achieving success with films like Cinderella, which grossed over $500 million, and Beauty and the Beast, which made $1.3 billion.
Rachel Zegler is not having her year where her Snow White movie is going to lose $200 million for Disney, but doing so, she also screwed over Tangled in the process. When Rachel Zegler was cast as Snow White, she joined one of Disney's biggest franchises, which was Disney Princess, where they've done $45 billion in merchandise sales just in the last 25 years. With the goal of trying to keep that brand fresh, they've tried to do live-action reboots of the Princess movies, and they have had success so far, with Cinderella making over $500 million on a budget of $90 million, and then Beauty and the Beast making $1.3 billion. But the last two attempts for Disney just haven't worked, where Halle Bailey's Little Mermaid lost $25 million for Disney, and Rachel Zegler's Snow White is way worse, and it could lose up to $200 million.
However, recent attempts, including Halle Bailey's Little Mermaid, which lost $25 million, and now Rachel's Snow White, have not fared well. In the lead up to this debacle, Rachel was positioned to represent a shift in the industry, aiming to disrupt traditional norms. However, it appears she may have disrupted too much. Tensions began to rise even before the film's completion. In August 2024, Rachel took to X, formerly Twitter, to express her support for Palestine while promoting the Snow White trailer. Given the sensitive nature of the Israel-Palestine conflict, This move quickly ignited controversy. Compounding the issue was the fact that her co-star, Gal Gadot, had previously served in the Israeli Defense Forces and publicly supported Israel. Rachel's tweet sent shockwaves through the production team, leaving many blindsided and confused about why she would tie such a heavy political message to a Disney promotion. Executives were reportedly furious, with producer Mark Platt even flying to New York for a face-to-face meeting with Rachel to address the fallout.
If it ain't broken, don't fix it. Leave it alone. Yeah, that's it. If it ain't broke, break it. Like, leave these stories alone. By the way, if she never opened her mouth and she didn't do all this nonsense, people would have gone and watched the movie. They would have made their money, but then people would have been disappointed after them.
Rachel's relationship with Disney had already been strained for nearly 2 years, as she had been openly critical of the film's story, themes, and production choices. Despite the significant investment Disney had made in the film, Rachel's behavior made it increasingly difficult for the studio to manage the situation. In a typical scenario, one would expect an actor in Rachel's position to lay low and avoid further straining their relationship with the studio. However, Rachel took a different approach. After the election, she posted a fiery message on Instagram declaring, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace." She went on to label Trump supporters as a deep, deep sickness, criticizing them for clinging to a false sense of security, masculinity, intelligence, patriotism, and humanity. The internet erupted, with MAGA supporters demanding that Disney fire her from Snow White. Hashtags calling for a boycott of the film began trending, and conservative influencers joined the fray, amplifying the calls for action. Disney executives were reportedly at a loss, scrambling to figure out how to handle Rachel, who was alienating a significant portion of their audience at a critical time. Once again, producer Mark Platt was dispatched to meet with Rachel in hopes of calming the storm, but she showed no signs of backing down. In a desperate attempt to regain control of the narrative, Disney even brought in a social media crisis expert to manage Rachel's online presence, but she continued to make things difficult.
I'm surprised that Snow White flopped. And here's the thing. I used to work at Disneyland for a very long time. I've been going my whole life. I literally still go to this day. And why would you take the most beloved animation Disney classic film, the first one that was ever made by Disney and put Disney on the map, and turn it into this woke DEI bullshit? Holy shit, it's not that deep. It's just a fairy tale movie.
As Rachel's relationship with Disney deteriorated, the studio's desire to distance itself from her grew stronger. They had invested heavily in the film, and with its impending flop, they were left with little choice but to contain the fallout. The premiere of Snow White was stripped down to the bare essentials, avoiding the usual glitz and glamour associated with Disney releases. Instead of a grand red carpet event, there was a quiet screening at the El Capitan Theater, accompanied by a subdued pre-party. Disney executives were reportedly terrified of having Rachel near any reporters, fearing that her unpredictable nature could lead to further controversy. Martin Kleba, who voices Grumpy in the film, didn't hold back in his criticism, stating that Rachel had essentially ruined the project for everyone involved. He remarked that the premiere would lack the usual excitement due to the surrounding controversies, highlighting the studio's fear of backlash from various segments of society. When even a cast member expresses such sentiments ahead of a major release, it signals just how dire the situation has become. The backlash against Rachel has sparked a heated debate about her public persona. Many are questioning whether her outspoken nature is simply a reflection of being too woke, or if it stems from a deeper unlikability. Online comments reveal a growing sentiment that Rachel's actions have alienated audiences, particularly parents who may have been hesitant to take their children to see the film. Some have expressed relief at the film's failure, criticizing Rachel for politicizing a beloved fairy tale and suggesting that her approach has embarrassed not only Disney, but also the entire cast and crew. As the dust settles, it appears that Rachel Zegler's future in Hollywood hangs in the balance. The combination of her controversial statements, the film's financial failure, and her strained relationships with studio executives has left her in a precarious position. The question remains, can she recover from this, or has she irreparably damaged her career? The fallout from Snow White may linger long after the film's release, serving as a cautionary tale about the intersection of celebrity, politics, and public perception in the entertainment industry.